All right, so now this video is going to work on addressing our ability to restore position, what we call the hang shape, which is basically taking our arm out to 90 degrees and being able to rotate that hand downward without the loss of shoulder control, all right? So that's basically saying that we're trying to restore the hang shape, which is shorthand for being able to get our arm behind our body and also being able to get our hand to come downward when the elbow is out to 90 degrees. Now, the reason why this is important is because if we're going through motions such as cleaning a barbell, right, keeping anything close to us, what we start to see is if we have a loss in this shape and position, we might start to experience either some discomfort along the shoulder, or we might start to see some movement compensation such as chicken winging with some of our motions, all right? So sometimes it could just end up being a resultant of just some stiffness along the backside of the shoulder, and all we're going to try to do here is just work on restoring that position. Now, one thing that you can also do before you go through this mobilization is to just test out how well you can go ahead and bring the palm down to the floor without any type of loss in shoulder position along the backside. So that if the hand starts to come down towards the floor, we don't want to see that shoulder dump away, right? Because then that means that we're working with a more unstable platform to work off with our arm. So one thing that we do here is we take our mobilization ball, we're going to go ahead and just work on tracing out the musculature and soft tissue along the backside of the shoulder. So we're going to start along the backside of the shoulder around the delt area, and we can start to work our way into the scap. But all we're trying to do here is just trying to work on fishing around for any type of restriction and tenderness. And when we find that, a couple of the rules here that we want to make sure that we adhere to are: can I breathe in this position? So that means that if you're starting to feel like you're turning blue in the face, you're holding your breath, it means that you're too aggressive with your pressure, right? And so we just want to be able to see that, make sure that we can breathe on top of the ball, okay, and get a little bit of a release there. But now, once we start to pin that muscle down and pin that area down that feels restricted, we want to start to add some movements to our mobilization. So we're going to take our arm and work on waving it all the way down, palm to the ground, top of the hand back to the floor through its fullest potential range of motion through the shoulder. So we're working on just rotating the shoulder in each direction, all right? So we go through this. Some of the rules of thumb here are, ideally I'd say, look, let's go 1 to 2 minutes here, but we want to get to a point where we stop if we either start to feel that it's becoming painful and uncomfortable, or we stop when we start to feel like we've made a change in the motion, right? So that could be earlier or could take longer depending on how stiff or how non-stiff you are, okay? So after you've done with that, what I want you to do is go ahead and reassess your position and say, well, I have my elbow out to 90 degrees, and I want to see if I can get my hand to come down closer to the ground without a loss of that shoulder position. And if so, then that means we're onto something.